welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to talk about my sewing essentials, and I feel like this will be useful for anybody who's starting out or you've been sewing for a while and you just didn't know about some of these products. Feel like they're very common, however they've made my life so much easier and they've made such a huge change in like my daily basis of sewing. I've been sewing consistently for maybe over a year consistently, as in like almost every day. So there's a lot of things that I use because I don't want to have a bunch of things. I want to have good stuff that is not gonna be like bulky and I can just use on my everyday basis. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hopefully you've heard about them. If you haven't, check them out. There's some links down below that I do earn commission because they will be on Amazon. There's some that I do not earn commission and they're off of Amazon, so I just want to put that out there. So let's just get started. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite products that I've used lately ever since I think it was like either September or February this year, because I ended up going to a sewing expo and I did not know how life-changing it was, so I cannot wait to go back. But I saw this brand, Oliso, and you see it packaged here, but I have it over here. I am now an Oliso partner, which I'm very excited about because I'm obsessed with them. However, I saw them online, I've seen them everywhere, and I was like, oh, I don't know, it seems to be a little bit expensive, but then I didn't realize how worth it was. These mats right here are kind of like Lego pieces, so you can make them as big as you want. I still have some left because they sent me so many of them. So I have them stacked in here. I have 2 that are brand new, and then I have 3 that have been opened, but you can literally Lego them up and make them as big as you want or as little as just like one of them. They're so useful, and I'll explain to you how it works. I have it in my workstation in the middle of both of my machines. I have 2 of them because that's just like what it fits. So what you see there is what I have. But basically there are these like mats that are very thick, so whatever heat you have that you're putting on is gonna like transfer it back up. So I find that ironing on this is a lot better than an ironing board. I do have the cover for the ironing board for my ironing machine that is also Oliso. However, I gravitate towards using this one a lot more. My ironing table is like stowed away and I've only used this guy. And I use this too because it's just as big as I need it. If I need it any bigger, I'll probably bring my board out, but these are so helpful. They have these little guys on the back so you can take them off and then you can connect them as you need them, or you can just leave them in there. If I grab this one right here, you're going to see that I have them connected in the back. These I cannot live without. After they entered my life, I don't want them gone. For the next one is an obvious one, my machines. I can't leave without my machines. However, before I grabbed this Bernina machines, I used to use a Brother machine that I still use when I go to classes because it's a lot lighter. These guys are so heavy that I don't want to carry them anywhere. So I have the one that I travel with, and that is my Brother machine that I'll leave down below. It is heavy duty, it's pretty good, it's on the affordable side, and I would say that is a really good one to start off with. I used to use, back in the day, back in my college days, I grabbed a $20 Singer sewing machine from Goodwill. It did its purpose, however, it would break on me all the time. I moved then to the Brother machine that I use for my classes. That one, very good, can handle some heavy things, however not as big as these guys, but because of my daily use and wear and tear of these machines, I need some heavy duty ones, which is why I have the Bernina. They are on the more pricey end, however for what I do makes sense. But if you're starting out, that Brother one that I left down below is very good. And then I'll move forward with the other thing that I grabbed for my Brother machine, which is this set. If you have a Brother machine, if you have a Singer machine, or just like a more regular machine instead of like a heavy duty industrial looking one like these massive ones, there's this 42 piece of just feet for your machine. And this I use so much during my class to the point that people will come and borrow feet from me because I have them all. So a lot of people in my class had Genome, Singer, Brother. They had just all kinds of machines, but they were like, you know, the home ones, like the more common ones, not like the super high-end industrial ones. And they could potentially use all these feet. Look at all of them. There's so many in here. There's literally so many in here. Your zipper foot, things to do crazy things with. And then it also comes with the instructions in here as to how to use them. Very handy. Love this. Whenever I'm using my other machine, I carry this everywhere, which is why I have my little bag with. The other thing, the bobbins on a regular machine, and I'm just gonna call it regular because these are just on a different level. So I'm just gonna call them regular, but you know what I mean. On a regular machine, the bobbins are a lot smaller. For my Bernina machines, they're like this jumbo bobbins, so they're completely different. I cannot use the same bobbins for everything. I can use these for my embroidery machine, which is a brother, but I cannot use them for this one. Anyway, there's these packs of bobbins, so whenever you have to thread a lot of like white ones, you can do it all in one time and just keep them here, so then you don't have to keep rethreading your machine. I just found them so useful, and it's just so organized and so clean that I'm like, why not? For the next two, I'll go back to Oliso really quick because I did not realize how important it was to iron until I really got serious with my classes and like learning more about clothing and making clothing and stuff like that. Ironing is super crucial. So when I went to the sewing expo and I was looking into irons, there was a store that already carries Oliso irons. However, they are pricey. They're on their pricey end. So I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna go see them, I'm gonna see what they do. I'm gonna test it out before I make the gigantic purchase. They have two different irons, if I'm not wrong. They have this one, which is the Pro Press one, the smart iron, which I absolutely love. There's nothing wrong with this one. It's just bigger than the other one that I'm about to show you. This is absolutely phenomenal. It was engineered so if you touch it, it goes down and then you can iron, and then if you let go, it'll come back up. It's just a beautiful thing. It's an amazing iron. It is really big, so it's just like the regular size iron, right? If I was using my ironing board for bigger pieces, I'll gravitate towards this. Also, the cable is extremely long. Like, it's very long. So then you never have to fight with like how short it is for you to be able to iron freely. It is beautiful. It has every setting you need. It's just phenomenal and I love it, especially because I do this and then I do that, and then you could just leave it on your board. You don't have to keep putting it back up. If you're a sewist, you probably have this problem because a lot of people who are sewists have that problem with the wrist, that they'll start hurting. I have this bump on this one because I have a cyst right here. I injured my right hand when I was really little, so I already have a lot of issues with my wrist. I don't need to add any more. So this iron was perfect for my wrist, so I love it. She is on the pricey side, but they have a smaller one, which is this guy right here. And this is the Oliso M3 Pro Project Iron. This one is the one that surprisingly I've been using most because I have my two boards right here. Because my space is so small, I keep this one next to me because I usually just need it to like iron a seam or iron something like on it, or just like touch up my fabric before I start sewing on it, because I need one that is like to go. So I do use the both of them. This big one I'll most likely use on like finished garments, or whenever I get bulks of fabric, I end up washing them and I need to iron them. I'll take my ironing board and I'll just like iron it all and then I'll fold it. This one is just like a bigger, heavy duty one. This one right here has been my saving grace, and it does have like 3 settings. So it has like, you know, low heat, medium heat. Like, I've been using it so much, you can see so much like dirt from my fabric. But and then it has the high heat with steam on it. You can put your water back here, but I just love that it also comes with this little resting mat, so you can put it on there, or you can also store it with it like this. I leave it here all the time. Like, this little one does not leave my side, and I believe that honestly, if I were to get either one of them, I would start with the little one, just because it's such a good, like, it's such a good iron, but it's also so tiny that it's perfect for my space. If you have a smaller space, you don't have a studio, and you're just looking to have something right next to you, this one's perfect. If you don't have a lot of room and you have a lot of projects to work on, get one mat and the iron and you're good to go. Like, honestly, those two, perfection, and they have fixed the issue of me having to put out the whole ironing board and then getting up and then ironing and then going back to my station and then sewing and then getting back and then doing it all over again. It's just such a time waste, and I end up more exhausted. It's just like, You wouldn't think it's that big of a deal, but honestly, it makes such a difference and it's time saving. So I love this little one. One tip though, do not put it on your cutting board because it bends because of the heat and the steam. I did that. I ruined one mat, so please don't do it. Yeah, moving on to the rest of things that are little, could seem silly, but they make a huge difference. This specific ruler. This ruler is by OmniGrid. Is it special? No, but it's literally the only one I use. Oh, actually, hold on. I lied. This one and this one. These two are the only ones that I use. They're by the same brand. I like the quality of them and the fact that they're acrylic and I can see through it because it's a lot easier to cut and measure for me, mostly when it comes to like fabrics. This little guy just helps me so much with little things, pockets, seams, literally everything. You wouldn't think that this tiny thing would help. It does. This one got me to move away from every other ruler, and I have so many rulers. I had to get rid of so many rulers because they just wouldn't cut it for me. The super flimsy ones are just not heavy enough for me to be able to cut, and then the other ones like this one right here, I'll grab it, but I'll only use it for paper now, for whenever I'm cutting paper. And it does have the grip thing on the back, but I can't see what I'm doing. And with this one, I can actually see what I'm cutting, how much I'm cutting. I can line stuff up. If there's a pattern, I can really see. So again, you wouldn't think it was a huge difference, but it is. Next one, I have them in this little case right here. Pens. These little pens, I already have them on my storefront. They're super helpful whenever I'm like trying on stuff or putting a garment together on my dress form. And I used to actually pin everything before I started taking my sewing classes, and these were the ones that I used the most. However, I have gravitated towards pins, but these are so helpful whenever I want to keep a pattern together with the fabric. They're just really helpful. I've tried some pins from Amazon. I've tried some pins from the store, and these so far are the ones that I've liked the most. The ones from the store, to me, are incredibly expensive, and some of them don't even work. They usually cost maybe like $9 to $10 for one pen, which I think is ridiculously expensive, knowing how fast these little suckers run out. So I don't get the ones from the store. Then the chalk ones disappear and they're not like too precise to how I would like it. And then I hate the rest. And the liney chalk ones, I just don't like them. These, I've done some shopping on Amazon and I finally landed on these. They come in a pack of 8-piece heat erase pens, 4 different colors. So let me show you what they mean by the 8 pieces, because I think it's 8 pieces per color, or no, just kidding, it's 8 colors. Okay, so it's 8 colors, right? I've been using the white one a lot because I feel like it's the one that I gravitate towards the most. These pens actually stay together and the cap is actually really nice. They're very nice pens. There's some that are so flimsy that the caps fly out. But what you need to understand is with these pens, if the cap flies out, this starts drying out, so then you completely lost your pen because they are gel pens at that point. So it sounds stupid, but it's really important for it to be good quality for it to work. And then in here, you get all the refills. Basically, whenever you're, drawing on something, I'm gonna grab a scrap of fabric. Actually, I'm gonna grab this guy right here. You can see that it's brown, it's empty. And then sometimes you just kind of have to get it started, because I've found out that a lot of times I'm like drawing, but because it had the little tip like a little bit dried out, you have to get it going for it to work. So I'm just gonna draw a line, and then you think that it's not, showing up, and then after a while it starts showing up a lot stronger. So I'll leave this here for a second, and maybe if you pay attention it might start showing up a little more. So this one you don't have to keep like drawing, even though you're not seeing it. It will appear, I promise. These are really good, are the only ones that I've liked. And here you go. So you can see the line. Next one sounds ridiculous, but this right here, this is a seam fix. This is a seam ripper, but the fact that it has rubber on both ends, and I actually got this at a physical store, but the other ones are just so flimsy and dumb. I hate. They cost probably more than this one. This one I loved because when I'm seam ripping something and the little threads are still stuck in there, you can literally rub this on top of it and the rubber is gonna pull them all out. So I found that to be really helpful. And then it has 2 sizes, so this one points at the big one, this one points at the small one. So then you have the small one right here, big one on this side, and it's well compact to the point that it's not just gonna fall off. Like, it stays pretty intact. I'm usually really careful with sharp objects, and mostly on the floor, because I have a dog that likes to just walk around, so I don't want any needles on his paws or anything like that. So I really like this seam ripper. If you're gonna spend good money on a seam ripper. Next one, let's talk cutting utensils. This one is a rotary cutter, and I have two. They're the same brand. I have one for my fabric, one for paper. This is very important, and mostly if you're starting out, you need to have scissors for your paper and scissors for your fabric. You do not mix them, because then the blades get really dull. You do the same thing with rotary cutters, because the blades function in different formats. So I know that a lot of people tend to grab a pattern and cut the pattern on top of the fabric to get them both at the same time. You're ruining this. Also, depending on what kind of like paper you use on top, you're probably not getting the most precise out of your pattern, you know, on your fabric. So I don't do it. Maybe some people have gotten it down and they nailed it. I haven't done that. So I like to use one for each, and I like to separate my things and keep it as clean as possible, just because I'm a neat freak and I need to have control of everything. So that's what I do. I don't know how you say this brand, but I have to. The way that I separate the two is that one is smaller. So my smaller one is for paper, my bigger one is for fabric. And then you get the replacements on Amazon, because you just need to find the sizing of it and just test out and see if they're good. But they're blades. You cannot go wrong with blades. The next one is fabric scissors, and I've bought a lot of different fabric scissors when I went to the expo event, which honestly, if you have a sewing expo event happening in your city, go, because you tend to find so many other brands in person and you're like, wait, I didn't know this existed. This was one of them. I'm not a full-on expert. I don't have years and years and years of experience in this industry, so I'm not gonna know every single brand. So I go to the stores that I think have the best brands, but then sometimes that's not the case. I bought, and not to, you know, hate on any of these brands at all. They were good, but they do get dull with time. I grabbed this one, and this one is a Kai scissor. This was like my latest purchase, and it's still great. It's just that, you know, it loses its sharpness after a while. I also grabbed this Ginger, this brand right here, and I still use both of them. However, they got dull really fast. I grabbed these scissors from the Sewing Expo, and these are by French European, and these are a 9, and my dress form is also from this brand, and I know that the designer of these things does the customs, or I think it's the customs, and also the body forms for Dancing with the Stars. So I know it's a professional, and they used to be very expensive, but I'm paying around the same price for these scissors than these. And I grabbed these in February and then have not gone dull on me. They're still super sharp. They're my fabric scissors, and I still use them. The guy was talking to me about it, and he says that these are made out of titanium and there's something really fancy schmancy on them. And I was like, how often do I have to, you know, sharpen them? And he said that I didn't. He could be wrong. He could have lied to me. I don't know. All I know so far is that I've gone from February to now August, and these are perfect. They're the perfect size for me. I know that they have different sizing. So maybe try them out. They had them at a good sale at the event, so I grabbed them. But there's nothing wrong with these ones. These just go dull a lot faster than those have. And I don't know how to sharpen scissors. If you guys have a good tool, leave it down below, because I definitely want to check it out. But these are the ones that have worked best for me. We're talking about scissors here, but it's important when you're talking about, you know, sewing. Okay, the next one, pens. I've used so many different pens. I also used clips, as you saw earlier. These so far have been my favorite pens, and you know, again, it sounds dumb, but there are these ones with like the circle head up top, and they're just very strong at the bottom. So I only grabbed a pack of 100 of them, and I never really run out of these. I don't need more than these. I don't need less than these. I think this is like a good number. And I also put them on top of these magnetic little guy because it's just a lot easier. And this has saved me from walking around with like the thing on here with the magnet and the stuff. I just walk around with this absolutely everywhere. I love this metal thingy. It's also easier to pick up my pins and everything like that. So these are the best pins that I can suggest. Stupid, but also important. Tape. Use tape. Patterns, you mess something up, you need to put something together, tape. And tape that is not going to ruin your fabric. So this one right here is just like one of those tapes that is not like, it's this one. And it's just really soft. And like you need to put something together or whatever, or you need to take some sticky out of it, you can just do that and then it's not gonna ruin anything. Like, it's really not. Anyway, tape. Little scissors, tiny scissors. And these are going to be for taking out all those little tiny threads that you have everywhere. I have about like 5 pairs of these just laying around. I also have the little clippers that work like this, but because of my hand and what I suffer with my hands, this one is the best one that I have been able to find. And then I also have a tiny one for embroidery. You wouldn't think that, you know, you need this many tiny scissors, but you do. There's this guy right here that is curved, and I need it to get all up in there for all those little threads whenever I'm doing embroidery. And then this one is the one that follows me around everywhere. It has been good to me. It's so cheap. I feel like you can find it anywhere. And then the last 2 things are more for if you're into illustration or if you're into drawing whatever you think you're about to make. This journal right here, it just looks like this whenever you find it on Amazon. I would not even be able to tell you if it's even a brand. All I know is that I'm obsessed with this Sketchpad. It has the illustrations like very lightly there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It's very light, and then it comes with different types of illustrations. So what could be like standing like that, the other one could be like this, the other one could be from the back. Like, it just has different ones. So there's 2 that look super huge like this, and then when you go deeper into the Sketchpad, you can see 4 this way. I have bought this Sketchpad, I think now 2 times because I love it so much. Then I discovered Fashionary, and that just was so dangerous for me because up there you could probably see that I have Fashionary books. I have Fashionary books downstairs because I just moved, so I have them somewhere in a box. But then these Sketchpads, I love so much. I have the men's wear because I have the women's wear on this one. However, I want to get the women's wear, and you can put like your name on here. So this one is like the smaller Sketchpad. It says Fashionary on the back. It says menswear up here. It's a size A5 because they have different sizes, and then it has 160 pages. I love how dainty it is, how like designy it is, how minimal the feel of the book. It's just like Fashionary just gets it. And then when you go into it, it has like for your name, the season, your phone number, whatever you need to like put on your journal. And then it has like button sizes and the sizing for things for men, like measurements, body shapes, standard body measurements. Then it goes into outerwear and like little illustrations that you can do on there. And then, I mean, the list goes on. And then I have some illustrations in here that I cannot show you because it's the only ones that I've done. These are I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but those are kind of like the illustrations are within this book. I feel like it's the same illustration all throughout. It is. It is very simple. It doesn't work like this one. I want to get the women's wear for this because I freaking love it. That's it. I know it's probably a longer video. Thank you for sticking out. Let me know what your essentials are. What am I missing out on? What do I need to see? Put some links down below of things that I need to check out, that I need to put into my routine and just make my essentials. But that's basically it for me. I hope you love this video. I hope you try something new, or let me know if you have tried any of these and if you love them, you hate them, your thoughts, leave them down below. I'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, do all those things, and follow me on socials, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.